First reading, a reading from the prophet Isaiah, chapter 8, verses 23 and chapter 9, verses 3. For is not everything dark as night for a country in distress, as the past humble the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali? So the future will glorify the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, the territory of the nations. The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. On the inhabitants of a country in shadow, dark as death light has blazed forth. You have enlarged the nation, you have increased its joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at harvest time, as they exult when they are dividing the spoils. For the yoke, the weight on it, the bar across its shoulders, the rod of its oppressor, these you have broken us on the day of Midian. This is the word of Lord. Thanks be to God. Second reading, a reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verses 10 to 13 and 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, and that there be no schism among you, but that you be perfect in the same mind and in the same judgment. For it hath been signified unto me, my brethren, of you, by them that are of the house of Chole, that there are contentions among you. Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I indeed am of Paul, and I am of Apollo, and I am a Cephas, and I of Christ. Is Christ divided? Was Paul then crucified for you? Or were you baptized in the name of Paul? For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not in wisdom of speech, lest the cross of Christ should be made void. This is the word of Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from the Gospel according to Saint Matthew, chapter 4, verses 12 to 23. And when Jesus had heard that John was delivered up, he retired into Galilee. And leaving the city Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum on the sea coast, in the borders of Zebulun and Nephthalim, that it might be fulfilled which was said by Isaiah the prophet, land of Zebulun and the land of Nephthalim, the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people that sat in darkness hath seen great light. Unto them that sat in the region of the shadow of death, light is sprung up. From that time Jesus began to preach and to say, do penance, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And Jesus, walking by the sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he said to them, come after me, and I will make you to be fishers of men. And they immediately leaving their nets followed him. And going on from thence, he saw other two brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in the ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets, and he called them. And they forthwith left their nets and father, and followed him. And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and every infirmity among the people.